pre-charged. It's like a HPA air gun, so it shoots out a
Okay.
22 caliber pellet, but uses compressed air. And I mean, these things are fast. Like we were shooting groundhogs at well past 100 yards. So
Whoa.
he's in the he's in the backyard. He's got a playing card, and he splits the playing card. He's like, "Oh, that was cool." I'm like, "Dad, that needs to be on YouTube." And he's like, "What are you talking about? YouTube?" My dad's like, "I don't want to be on YouTube." Hey, Eric.
What's up, dude?
Not too much. How are you?
Good. How are you, man?
Doing well, thank you.
Man, you got the beard going, buddy.
I know, dude. Ever since I hurt my arm, I have not shaved. So,
Oh shit, what happened to your arm?
oh, I crushed the radial nerve in my left arm. I still can't open my hand. It's just like dangling here. I finally had surgery 2 weeks ago, and I can engage my wrist finally. But I've been paralyzed, and I know you had some issue
Yeah.
uh, years back, but
So, dang, now you know. Like, holy shit.
dude, crazy, just absolutely crazy. Just trying to stay positive and work through it, man. It's been wild.
So does it so what does it affect? So one hand, you're down to one hand basically.
Yep.
So if you had to set something on the counter to open a jar or something, open a lid, you've got to like kind of cradle it with your forearm, I'm guessing, like your inner forearm, your wrist, and try to hold it that way to open it.
So fortunately, with it being the radial nerve, the only thing the radial nerve's really doing is engaging up here at the knuckle and opening my hand. So I can actually
Mm,
close my hand and make a fist,
mm.
which is awesome. So I can grip stuff fine, but I
Okay.
can't freaking let go of it. It's hilarious. Like I'll hold something, I'm like trying to get it out of my hand. I look so stupid.
Oh,
But
that's funny, man.
it's
Okay.
been like 6 months of this, man. I haven't played airsoft in almost like 5, 6 months. So
Whoa.
it's been rough.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. Holy cow. Okay. That's
You want me to
crazy.
change? Can I shoot? Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Good for you.
Look at you being, you got some smarticles.
Something.
Yeah, welcome, brother. I appreciate you being on.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having. I'm honored. I'm honestly honored to do this with you. You've had some legends on here. You've had some just great people
Thank
on
you.
here. So to be here with you is an honor.
Everyone that I've had on has made me a better person, I feel like, to be honest.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, that's actually why I kept doing the podcast, or why once I started doing it and I found kind of the purpose of what I was doing on here, and
Yeah.
it was like it was therapy for me. And I thought, I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna give back what, maybe some of these people's stories will help someone else in the future. And so I thought that would could be like a small part of how I could give back to the community through that. So yeah,
I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, and it's got to be so cool to be in your shoes and like experience that. That you're so lucky. You are so lucky to be able to
thank you,
do that.
man. Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
very grateful. I don't ever, I never let, well, I never really focused too much on social media, like fulfilling my kind of ego anyway, or whatever.
Hmm.
So I don't really, I don't care what the numbers say. I'll still be the same and still treat people the same. That's why I have a lot of, I invite everyone on here, man. Like, I think I've had 13 or 14-year-olds on here that play speedsoft,
Yep.
all the way up to whoever, like if somebody wants to get on here and tell their story, then hey, I'm down.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, man, I appreciate you. So well, let me give a quick shout out to the sponsors, because those guys are part of the process, right? They're part of this whole mission, and they believe in what I'm doing. And I work with these two guys because they understand what I'm doing, they appreciate it, and I appreciate what they're doing in the airsoft community as well. And this goes for anyone in the future. If you ever want to sponsor the podcast, even if it's just for a month or something, like if you have a big event coming out, you could do that. And just I'm always willing to shout stuff out. You guys know. So, but the two sponsors I have, I'm very grateful for. Skirmish, you guys have heard me talk about that forever, and I still love the system. I really think it's ahead of its time, to be honest, with all the airsoft events. There's a lot of fields and a lot of events coordinators that have been doing their own kind of system for a long time, and I totally understand. I totally get it. They have, it's put a lot of work and time and effort into some of these systems, but I think that I haven't found anything else yet that can track not only the gameplay and the objectives and all that kind of stuff, but your individual stats once you leave the field. And I feel like when I go into my video games, whatever ones I've played forever, and I look back, I have a record of my history, right? Like I know which missions I went to, what stuff I built up, what achievements I've got, those kind of things. And I think that's what Skirmish is really good for with airsofters. So shout out to Skirmish. Go to skirmish.net if you want to find out more and ask about it. And then Jackal Tactical is a fairly new one. I had Paul Whitman, who is the owner of Jack Tac. I had him on a couple months ago, I guess, and right after I had him on, he ended up sponsoring the podcast, and I'm really grateful for him too. He's got a good system set up. He's been into airsoft for a long time. They've got the storefronts, they've got the field, they have Otherworld Milsim with they host events, and I think you're very familiar with him up there because I think it's in your area, I believe. So shout
I'm
out to Jack
sponsored.
Tech.
Absolutely. I'm also sponsored by Jackal. Paul's a great guy. He
Oh,
really is.
awesome. Okay. Yeah, man, for real. Go to jacktech.com. Check it out, guys. They've got an event coming up in September. I've been saying every week on here when I do a podcast that I'm going to that event. I just found out that my niece, my older sister's daughter, is getting married that same week. So it's up in
The way it
Ohio,
works.
in Cleveland, Ohio. I know. So we were actually supposed to go up to see my mom and my sisters in May. Well, then we found out about the wedding, and we're like, okay, we're going to wait until September to go up there, visit everybody. So we're going to stay for a week and visit everybody. But anyway, so Paul, my apologies. I won't be able to go to the event, but I will definitely promote the heck out of it until then. So anyway, so yeah, man, welcome. You are Ryan Rem, and I think that's how you say your last name. And you are
Reem. We
Pewdie.
actually pronounce it Reem.
Oh,
Beauty Rye.
Reem.
Yep.
Okay. And you are PewDiePie
Yep.
on all the socials or whatever.
You
I
got it.
first found out about you last year. One of the guys I talked with up in your area, it might have been Balrog, actually. Uh, some of the guys that play up in your area, one of them mentioned you, and they were telling me, hey, you got to reach out to this guy. So I don't think I ever did in the past, but I was putting out a lot of podcasts at that time, so I probably forgot. So I finally got you on here, and I'm really excited. So welcome, dude.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Like I said, it is an honor to be here with all the legends that have come before on the podcast. This is a great experience. I'm really happy. So, yeah, what do you want to dive into first?
Your call sign or your gamer tag, your Instagram name. So what is PewDiePie? What is this?
Okay, okay. So I manage my dad's YouTube account, Shooter1721, massive account. We're close to 100,000 subs over on
Oh,
that account, and that takes most of my time. This airsoft thing is a side hustle for me.
okay.
This does not take up a whole lot of my time. So one day, I don't want to call him a hacker, maybe a scammer or something like that, started taking pictures from all over social media of myself, my wife, my son, and our family, and was using it and leveraging pictures of the family, saying that he knew the family, and we started using our personal accounts like against us, and started like basically scamming people in the air gun. My dad's an air gun shooter, so he shoots like PCP air guns and stuff like that. Started scamming people and was like, hey, I know the reams. Here's pictures from Easter. Here's pictures from Christmas. And yeah, I was like, I quick had to go through all my socials and go dark for a little bit. And I was like, I just got to change my name and do like some random name. And at the time, I was just watching PewDiePie videos, like just religiously. His react videos were hilarious, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna be PewDiePie. And like my Instagram, it it didn't start out as like Airsoft. I was just like, I need to get away from this as quick as possible. And my wife deleted everything for a while. She's finally back up on the gram and stuff like that. But yeah, this dude was scamming people out of like thousands of dollars.
Huh.
And like, oh hey, that gun that Rick just reviewed, I've got it here. I'll sell it to you for $750. And like he would do all like this long game. And
Whoa.
yeah, so it was that was just insane. So that's how that went. That's where the name came from. It was really, really random. So
Yeah, sure.
uh
But out of
but yeah, it was
necessity.
yeah, it was out of necessity. I have to dodge that bullet. So
Oh my
be careful
gosh.
putting your personal information out there because people will exploit it. I guess the bigger you get. I mean, the bigger guys probably
Yeah.
know that. I see a lot of them on the socials, like blurring out their kid's face and not even posting their kids, which is
Uh-huh.
smart. The bigger
That's
you
very
get because
smart.
it's
Yeah.
dangerous.
I just saw a lot of the, obviously a lot of us follow a lot of the real steel shooters and stuff that
Mhm.
are on Instagram and all the socials, whatever. And I saw a lot of posts over the weekend for Easter. A lot of these guys are conservatives, Christians, and so they're
Mhm.
posting like Happy Easter kind of he has risen type of posts, whatever, and pictures of their family. But yeah, you're right. They're blurring out their kids or sometimes their wife and you know
Mhm.
a lot of their family's faces and stuff, and not putting their names in there. So I totally get it, man. It's something. Yeah, it is a bigger channel problem, right? Like when you're a smaller
Mhm.
channel, nobody cares. My channel's not getting hacked anytime soon. Okay, so I don't have to worry too much.
But at one point, someday, it'll get to that size, man.
Hmm.
You're growing fast. You really are. The numbers are looking really, really good.
I appreciate that,
Um,
man.
yeah,
Yeah, I never really
absolutely.
thought about that when we first started. I wasn't. I mean, I taught all my kids about the risks of online stuff. Like I wouldn't let them post personal information or where you're going or where you're going to be. Like if you're going on vacation, all the basic security stuff. And so I understood certain risks or whatever. But when we started our channel, when people started asking us, hey, do you have fan mail? Do you accept fan mail? I never got like a PO box. So I just gave them our home address, which I still do, to be honest.
I
And
do too.
I'm like, we got enough guns and ammo here and people to use them that know how. If anybody comes here with bad intentions, but I never really feel that way. I never think that way about people. I am
Hmm.
aware. I am, security aware. Like, for example, I tell my daughter to, in her car, don't put a bunch of stickers or fluffy things in your car or on your car to make it look like, hey, I'm a single woman here or whatever, when she was a senior in high school. And I wouldn't let her put stickers like that on there, because you're putting a target on you for no good
You
reason,
are. Yep.
so things like that. I teach my kids that, I teach my wife that, but I just feel like I don't I don't really think bad all the time about, oh,
Hmm.
this is bad thing's going to happen. I just kind of check my stuff, check my surroundings, kind of be aware, and then I don't really think about it too much. But yeah, it can happen to anybody, man. Like online now, you never know. My mom just got her Facebook thing hacked like not long ago, and so she's older, and she thought she was texting or messaging, personal DMing. Oh my gosh, what's his name now? Oh, I just had it. Anyway, one of the big actors that played in one of the Marvel movies.
No.
Yeah, the one. I thought his name was Ryan. Maybe it's not. The guy that played the one with the arrows.
What is his?
I'm. People are gonna murder me on here, okay? Because I don't know this.
Bro,
And I
I'm right there
literally
with you,
just
so it's
knew
all
it.
good.
But like last year, one of these big vehicle or like a vehicle or four wheeler or something like that fell on him, and he was in the hospital. So she thought Jeremy Renner. Sorry, there we go, Jeremy Renner. So she thought she was texting him, like messaging him because she saw it on Facebook and she did this. And so anyway, my younger sister had to teach her, like, Mom, that's no, that's like a fake account. So
That's so bad. That's so bad.
she's like, no, honey, he said it was really him. And I'm like, okay, no. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's that kind of risk you got to watch out for.
Absolutely. Yeah, It's crazy. The crazies out there. And don't put your Instagram handle. Like I see so many people driving around with their Instagram handles on the back of their car. Don't do that. It takes one person with ill intent to look up your Instagram and see like what you've got if you're into drones or you're into airsoft or firearms. And
Mm.
they see your collection, they see your hobby. Guess where you're going? Next stop, you're heading back home. They just follow you home and it's like they know
Oh,
exactly. And guess what? They follow your Instagram, they know exactly where you're at. If you're posting, you go live,
yeah.
stuff
If
like
you're at
that.
an
Boom.
event
Yeah.
or on
Just very
vacation or somewhere.
super.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Good
I
point,
don't
bro.
advertise when I'm really close to home. Like I don't advertise at all. Like
Yeah.
it's just you just put that target on you.
That's a good, hey, pro tip, people, listen up for real. Because that is actually we thought about doing that because we
Oh,
had
you can
like
go.
our,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I've seen those, and I'm like, that's something I did not think about. Good point,
Think about
man.
the window shopping. The window shopping, man. If I
Yeah.
am thinking about this, I'm stopping at a traffic light. I look at the trifecta. Oh shoot, they got this. It's like, all right, just follow this guy home, and all of a sudden,
Yes.
it's like they can do window
They
shopping
could
right from their
case your
phone. It's
house.
insane. Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Without even going in
man.
it.
Amazing tip. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, we never did it. We tried to. I always felt like with our channel and stuff, less is more kind of thing. So we never wanted to
Hmm.
get. You can see the logo. Obviously, it's very simple. So we stuck with that. We made the those stickers. They're like uh, the stickers you put on your car window and stuff.
Yeah.
And you put it on there and then pull the peeling off, and so it's real, that's all they see. But we did think about getting like the full size our website kind of stuff, like put it on the back of our car. I've seen a lot of cars like that. But yeah, that's a good point, man. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. But kind of a
Definitely.
weird way to start the podcast. We're talking about scams and my random, handle, it's
Yeah,
or
but I mean
social handle. But I
that's how
mean,
it came up. Yeah, I mean you came up with a good one though. I like it.
it just worked. It did. It just
Hmm.
kind of rolled. And I was thinking today, I'm like, what would I change if I actually sat down and thought about a name for an airsoft brand? I probably would not have gone with Cutie Rye Airsoft. Like 10 out of 10, not what I would have done.
Right.
But hey, I'm rolling with it.
Uh-huh. Nice. And I love your room you're in. You got a badass background and all your gear and stuff. What's
Oh
the
yeah.
is that the RPG 7? I can't remember. I think that's the one that we had. It's got the real wood furniture on it.
The
Uh,
arrow, is it arrow something?
I think
I
it
forget who makes
is.
it. It doesn't actually launch the projectile. The
No.
40 mic goes in the head, or you
Yep.
can load it in the tube. But we were shooting tag-ins, the practice rounds out of it, and it is super cool. You take the warhead off and you just load the 40 mics
Oh, I think I saw it. You
down the
did a video
tube.
on that.
I think so. I didn't we didn't get any of the practice rounds on film,
Okay.
but we were out at ambush one night just under nods. We were shooting the RPG. It was so much fun.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Awesome. So give a little background on your how you got into airsoft and like how you grew up. Are you from where you live now? You're in PA, right?
Yep.
And then
So
yeah, go into that.
okay, awesome. So ambush, a lot of the guys that you've had on here, a lot of them play at ambush. So I know you had Nico and obviously Jackal Tactical, a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
Even Bam Bam moved up here for a little bit. Bam Bam Airsoft, you had him
Uh-huh.
on the podcast. He's another one. I grew up down there in Conestoga, so actually from the time I was like 12 years old on to through high school, I refed or marshaled, however you guys want to call it, paintball at Ambush. So I worked at Ambush, but I got into paintball first because there really wasn't any airsoft going on locally to me. Obviously, we had Ambush. We could walk to Ambush from
Oh
my
wow.
mom and dad's house. So
Okay.
really fortunate there. Uh, let's see. We've got refing. My dad played paintball from the early 80s on through the 90s. He actually was like on the first like team. They played against the All Americans, all this kind of stuff. So dad's got this huge background in paintball. And some guy stopped out at the field handing out airsoft flyers one time, and this was in the mid 90s, mid to late 90s.
Whoa.
And this guy was like, "This is going to be the future." This guy said, told my dad. My dad's like, "Yeah, whatever, toy guns, like that's stupid." And he hands my brother and I this flyer, dude. I wish I still had it. It had some of the original TM guns in it, Like I remember paging through this thing and like geeking out. Like I thought it was the coolest thing. And I can't remember on dial-up internet. I remember looking at an Airsoft website. I don't remember whose website it was, but fast forward a little bit, we got our first Airsoft guns and just kind of basically the springers and played in the backyard. My brothers and I and had
Yeah,
a blast doing that. And we found Shorty USA. Are you familiar with Shorty USA
I
before they
don't
went
think so.
under? So they were in Maryland, and actually, C7 Viper has a video. He bought all of their leftover inventory after they went out of business. I think it was years ago, but
Yeah,
more than five.
okay, okay. I think I saw one of his. He did a video on that. On
Yeah,
C7
yep,
did. I saw that
yeah.
video when I first
So that
started doing this channel. I was looking up unboxing, channels, and yeah, and I saw. Yeah, okay,
so that
interesting.
was from the old store from like, gosh, that had to be like 15 years ago. We were
Whoa.
going down there. So I've been playing airsoft for a long, long time, but
Right.
started out playing paintball. So I actually ended up from ambush. We were 4th of July one year. I think I was like 17. Bob Long, he's deceased now, but he was Turtle Innovations Bob Long, not the Bob Long that everyone knows, the intimidators in the paintball world. Um, Bob Long approached my dad. They used to play together back in the 80s and early 90s. And he's like, hey, we have one extra spot on the team Tremor, Division II paintball team. Would it be okay if I took your son to Boston to play in the NPPL? And at that time, I had like zero experience. Like I played competitively, but we were more of
Hmm.
a scenario team, not necessarily a competitive team, but we did have an indoor field that we played at
Yeah.
uh, in high school. So I went and played Division II paintball. That was a life changing experience getting
Really?
to do that. Yeah, that was really cool. So
Was
did
that like
that
a
and
traveling? So that's a traveling team, and like,
oh yeah.
okay.
Yep, that was and actually Tremor was in Greg Hastings tournament paintball. So we were in a video game. We had our own markers, sponsors,
What?
the energy drink balls. Do you ever
Oh
drink
my
that?
God! No way,
We were
dude.
sponsored. Cases. You just walked up, they hand you cases, just cases of balls. Yeah,
Bro.
it was
Oh my God, I
so
just had these flood of memories, okay, because you don't even know, man. Like there's so many people I talk to, like even like older gamers like myself that don't even know, didn't never heard of balls. And I'm
dude, we
like,
were
"No, what
sponsored. It was
dude,
so great.
we were when we were building our own computers, this is back in the mid to late 90s. We were building our own gaming computers and we were playing Unreal Tournament, the original Unreal Tournament, the original Counter-Strike, and the original Quake
Oh,
uh, at a LAN party where we would lug our 80-pound monitor, CRT monitor, to this guy's, party place or whatever at the allotment, and we would drink Balls energy drink. Now this is back
yes.
when ephedra was still legal. They put ephedra in Balls, which is why it was so ass kicking good
Yeah.
because it had legit speed in it. Okay, and of course,
Freaking.
years later, ephedra got banned. But dude, we would stay up all like we would play for 20 hours sometimes straight. Okay, at these, our eyes would have blood vessels broken in them, and we looked like
Oh yeah.
zombies. Drinking balls, playing Unreal Tournament. Some great memories. Okay.
Dude,
Anyway.
I don't know how I'm still alive. I remember the one day up in Boston, I'm drinking nothing but this stuff. And they had slushy machines, okay? So at the events, they would actually come to the events and they would have slushy machines set up. And anytime you got one of the slushies, they would give it to you in, are you feeling with a pod, like what paintballers use to fill their
Oh yeah,
guns?
yeah, yeah.
They would give you a custom balls pod, and I had like 20 of these, dude. I bet you these things are worth like I don't know where they are. I have no idea where they
Oh
got
my
to,
God, that's
but they're probably
awesome.
worth so much money. They were the coolest thing ever. But and if there's any OG paintballers listening to this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. But like, yeah,
Absolutely.
NPPL Boston, we had a NXT shocker that was a tremor shocker, and I had one of them. I had a black tremor shocker. Should never have sold it. I still have my jersey, but that's about all I have from
Okay.
that point in my life.
Oh
But
my God, that's awesome. Okay. Do you still follow
uh,
some of the paintball stuff online?
I was playing competitively 4 years ago, and I dislocated my shoulder and was just kind of like, I'm out. I got in with a team aggression. One of my buddies is huge. He runs I think it's Icon Paintball. It's like a magazine online. He does podcasts and stuff, and he's got some really like
Nice.
top tier guys like Ryan
Ryan
Greenspan, Alex,
Greenspan. Yep.
yeah, Alex Frazier, those kind of guys that
Okay.
he's had on, and like they've given him shout outs on Instagram. I'm like, that's crazy. But anyways,
Yeah.
uh, I went and I did play a little bit, and we were supposed to just play local events. And he brought in some ex pro players and like dudes that have been out for like, I don't know, 6 years,
Okay.
like they went way back. So we started practicing, and practice went from like, this is fun to I ran up and traded out with this guy, and he shot me in the face like 8 times. And he's like, I'm like, dude, we're practicing. And he's like, yeah, we're playing to win. We're practicing to win. And I'm like, I told Quinn after that, I'm like, dude, I'm not playing with these guys. I mean, the intensity level, like I said, I played Division 2, so it was like, and Division 2 back then wasn't like it is today. And like playing with the guys I did a few years back was just insane. But anyways, that's enough about paintball. I know a lot of your listeners don't want to hear about paintball, but that's kind of where I got my start from there.
Yeah.
From there, I stopped doing that, and I went down to ambush and decided, hey, I just want to. Well, all right. So I got really big into firearms too. So my dad's channel, will just kind of backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Dad's channel, I started that as a paintball channel back uh 10 years ago. Yeah, it's been about 10 years. So started as a paintball
Whoa.
channel, turned into a firearms channel. So we started doing firearms on in there, got really big into shooting and stuff like that. I started competing in PA steel matches, so pistol competition, stuff like that. And I was like, all right, this is fun, but I don't have the I don't have the capital to go out and like buy guns and then buy ammo and like keep up
Oh,
with it. So
for real.
um I was just like I kind of like started backing off with it. And my dad was out in the backyard shooting. He just got his first pre-charge. It's like a HPA air gun, so it shoots out a
Okay.
22 caliber pellet, but uses compressed air. And I mean, these things are fast. Like we were shooting groundhogs at well past 100 yards. So
Whoa.
he's yeah. So he's in the backyard. And he's got a playing card, and he splits the playing card. He's like, "Oh, that was cool." I'm like, "Dad, that needs to be on YouTube." And he's like, "What are you talking about? YouTube?" My dad's like, "I don't want to be on YouTube." So I
Yeah.
go out and film it. Crossman, like Crossman from up in New York, they see it, they retweet it, and this is like I said, 10 years ago, and they're like, "Hey, you want to come work with us?" And I mean, it was like the channel like had 400 subscribers if we were lucky at that
Yeah.
time, and we're like, "Yeah, sure." So all of a sudden, Dad gets picked up by Crossman. The YouTube channel becomes this airgun YouTube channel, and we just start like pumping out airgun content. He ends up going around to all the Cabela's in the United States and training employees on how to sell air guns at Cabela's, and that's just how he got his start. And then after that, like he got picked up by Airgun Depot, Pyramid Air picked him up, and then Umarex. And that's actually Dad's connection with Umarex is how I got in with Elite Force. That's actually one of my sponsors for the channel.
Okay.
So that's kind of how that all worked out. So I've got I don't want to say clout because I really don't care. I'm me. I'm just a random guy. I don't look at myself like a I
Well,
never.
yeah, but if you have a standing with, because that goes with your reputation, your working, work ethic and
Mhm.
stuff, people, yeah, it does mean something for sure.
It
It,
does. Like we've
yeah.
got close to I think it's like 98,000 subs. And actually the firearms thing went really well on TikTok. I had 140,000 followers on TikTok, and I lost that account. So
What do you mean you lost it? Did TikTok ban it because they started banning
hmm
gun stuff? Okay.
hmm
Gotcha.
yeah, it was a bummer, man. We went viral. We went viral on there with a couple of videos. And it's like when I say viral, I'm like, I don't know, 10 million in 2 days.
Whoa.
I mean, like I got the taste of like actual viral, and it was, I mean, the dopamine hit from that was insane.
It's
Like
gotta be.
it was so cool. It was so cool. And then the followers just kept coming in, coming in, coming in. And
Yeah.
then after that, anything you posted after that was like almost destined to go viral. Like we were on dumb crap with guns, and it was just like boom, 20,000 in 5 minutes. And it's like, what is happening?
Oh
Like I
my
had
God.
companies were beating down the door. I had Monstrum Tactical. They're like, pick out any scopes you want. We'll send you scopes. And like all these, not large companies, but like mid tier and low tier companies were just reaching out, and they're just like sending stuff like nonstop. We had
Yeah.
stuff coming to the house, and it was just like, it was so cool. And then that all got squashed by TikTok, unfortunately. So yeah.
Oh, man, what a bummer, dude. We felt the same kind of pain on a way smaller scale, right? We started our channel and we're all excited. Once you start getting some views and some subs, you're like, okay, this is working, like what we're doing. And then I forget how long into our channel, maybe a year into our channel, YouTube changed their terms of service, like all these other ones, you know,
Hmm.
started to, and demonetized like overnight. When we went in, um, whenever it rolled out, it was like a few days after, and you check your analytics, and it was we were on track to make, I don't know, like $200 or $300, you know, the estimated on your channel
Hmm.
for the month. And it was the first time we had hit the threshold of 100, and we jumped up to like over, you know, almost 300. I was like, we were like, whoa, this is what? Okay, maybe we, you know, it'll fund something that we put into it, you know, these boxes we were buying. And um and then within a week or so after that change or whatever, analytics, it was down to $4.20 or something like that. It was so crazy. And I said, wait, and I refreshed it and I go in, like, I didn't know what happened because you don't get a notification. They
Right.
just demonetized half of our unboxings, or more than half. And so I was like, what do we do? Like, what happened? So then I go start reading, and I'm like, dude. And way back in our channel after that happened, I did a couple videos on it, like kind of explaining it and doing a screenshot of their terms of service. And so anyway, uh, much smaller scale, but yeah, we felt that same kind of pain. It sucks.
It does. Dude, we were making $800 a month, and that was with like 20. I think we had like 20,000 subs at the time on the other channel,
Yeah,
and yeah, like 800 pushing, soon to be $1,000. I'm like,
right.
dude, we could actually like this could be a living. And I know
Yeah,
I've talked to other content creators, and they like everyone felt it. Like everyone felt it. Some of the I cannot imagine the big names. Like I've gone to Iraq vet's house, like I've gone to
oh
Eric's
yeah.
house, and he's a great guy. I've been to the Iraq vet machine gun shoot that they do with all the YouTubers. So
Oh,
I got
is he in Pennsylvania? I thought he was in Virginia.
not Virginia, he's
Iraqi
in
vet.
Georgia.
What is it? 1888? Is that
88, 88. Yeah.
88? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Eric
follow
and
him too.
Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, he's down in
That dude is
Georgia.
super smart with all these gun laws and all the things that are coming out. Like, he
He
knows.
is. He
Uh-huh.
is. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah, shout
he's a
out to
really
that
cool.
guy. Go
Yeah,
find
for
his channel if you guys are into real steel, or, you know, most people are that follow this. So, Iraqi, is it Iraqi veteran?
yeah, Iraq vet
Uh
88, 88.
yeah, definitely,
Stand up
man.
guy.
He's
He
cool.
is he is
Yep.
a stand up guy. Like I said, every we went down there to his place for like a weekend. We were coyote hunting, actually on FPS Russian's range. Eric was the one who owned that range and like
No
got
way.
Kyle started. Yeah, so I was actually crazy story. So we were filming an air gun hunting video. We were hunting coyotes on that range. But Eric, just back to how nice he is, like he would take us out to lunch and just like pay for everyone's food like every day. It was just like it's like, all right, we're
That's
gonna go to this
crazy.
place for lunch. He's like, you guys are all covered. Like, just amazing guy. Like,
Yeah.
if my YouTube channel like blew up, I would want to do that every weekend. Just like take
Mm-hmm.
care of people, like just share that experience that I had. But it was so cool.
So a lot of people, I guarantee there's a lot of younger people watching this or listening to this that don't even know FPS Russia. Okay, like they don't
Yeah,
even know what happened because he was huge. His
he's
channel
why I
was
got into
huge.
YouTube. He's why I got into YouTube. Like,
Really?
yeah, Kyle played a huge part in that. Like, just I wanted to be like that. Like, not a pretend Russian, but
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to be a YouTuber, man. Like, that's
But
where that bug bit me.
what a cool persona he had, man. I mean, it was awesome. He never broke character on his videos, you know.
Nope.
It was great. And then the ATF or whatever, the government got involved because they went nuts. And yeah, unfortunately, um, yeah. So listen, people, vote smart, okay? Please. I don't know. I don't know how else to fix it, but try to get some smart, people in there that at least support your gun rights, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Speaking about gun rights, were you kind of following what was going on with the CPSC thing last year when I had that whole ordeal go down? I mean, it was all over Airsoft. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
for a tiny window, I was in the limelight that I didn't want to be in. Like that, it was like, oh, cool. Everyone's like talking about this random guy that we have no clue who he is. And it's like, that is not where I wanted to be in my life. Like I was super busy with a million other things.
Yeah.
This falls on my lap. And like, what do you do? you know.
Well, you had the guy on to talk with him about it, and
Hmm.
I think was he up in Canada, or he was just talking about the Canada stuff. But I watched the video you had with him. I'm scrolling through
Hmm.
your Instagram actually right now, looking to see. I can't remember who it was, but I remember that video. In fact, there was I took a clip uh, of that guy saying something
Hmm.
on there, and I showed it on one of the podcasts I did with two guys in the Tennessee area, and I was talking about how, hey, listen to what this guy's saying, okay? He's talking about these politicians purposely trying to get rid of these gun, rights or whatever. Like it's not an accident. They're, and so anyway, yeah, it was very interesting, man, how crazy that went. I saw I was following you, and your stuff was blowing up. It was all over.
I was getting blasted from every direction though, man. Like I was getting, I was getting positive and I was getting negative, and man, I was getting torn
Really?
apart by some people. And I just want to take a moment to reiterate, like the CPSC was using direct final rule, and they are given the ability to use direct final rule the exact same way that the ATF writes letters regarding things like bump stocks and braces. They can use direct final rule to, with a stroke of a pen, get rid of, okay, your gun has to be purple now and it can't have these characteristics. It doesn't go through any other channel other than the CPSC. And that is the reason why we're doing the video. But there was so much, I don't want to say misinformation, but just like people didn't understand what was actually happening. They're like this will never affect us. It's like, no, it's not going to affect us today, but the fact that they can use direct final rule is terrifying. Like eventually, one of these days, a politician is going to be like, hey, we need to change this. We can use the same laws. Well, the CPSC can now use the same laws that essentially the ATF is using to strip away gun rights. I mean, like the stuff they're doing is unconstitutional. They don't have the right to write laws. And I don't want to get political on your
Yeah.
podcast by any means, but like they don't have the
No,
right
it's something
to.
he's talked about. Go ahead, dude. Feel free.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, they don't have the right. They do not have the right to do that. So my biggest warning to everyone, even in my own Discord, like turned into a bloodbath. Just some of the people in there was just dog eat dog, and actually the
So what?
CPSC.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, so the CPSC actually sent one of their mitigators. I don't know I forget what he called himself, but like basically does PR and damage control. And he
Yeah.
went into our Discord and like sent a bunch of government links and did a conference call. I completely stayed out of it. I wanted nothing to do with it. But like he, it was sus. It was so sus. Like he
Oh
comes
my
in, he's like,
God.
"I'm looking for Beauty Rye. Ryan, are you here?" And I'm like, "Wait, am I getting called out by the federal government?" And like people are like, I'm getting like my phone's blowing up. I'm getting phone calls from friends, and I'm like, bro, no way. I had like people like leaving the Discord. They're like, the government's in the Discord. We got to get out of here. Like, so it was so
Oh,
funny. It was so terrifying. And I'm just like, my heart rate and my blood pressure was so high for that like entire month. Like I was not having fun at all. Like I was just getting blasted and just like all the craziness. Like every day it was something else.
I can't imagine. Honestly, I really can't imagine. Yeah, I can really, I'm very good at putting myself in other people's shoes, but I'm trying to think right now, when you're seeing all this unfold and yeah, the apprehension and the anxiety, and I'm going, okay, the first thing I'm doing, I'm shutting everything down, bro. Like I'm going dark because I don't want to see it
I had
and I
people
don't
do
want
that.
shit to follow me. I'm looking over my shoulder when I'm driving, like what?
I know. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is terrifying. And you got like Matt from Evike, like doing videos, I'm getting like not a shout out, but almost a shout out from them. It's
Hmm.
like I didn't count it as like a PR stunt. Like I didn't want to grow from that like at
Right.
all because it's like I don't want to be that guy. Like I don't want that to be what my channel's about by any means. Like I'm just having fun
Sure.
shooting airsoft guns. Like I'm not that guy.
Oh, well, not only that, but that's kind of like almost too much in the limelight of a, with the dude. Unfortunately, we're in a position in this country where uh, we are afraid of the government kind of control.
Hmm.
Not kind of like the government control. The ATF is honestly the ATF itself is
Hmm.
unconstitutional. It really is.
Hmm. It is.
The whole thing. And obviously over the last 5 years or so, we've seen that the FBI is compromised. That all of pretty much all of them, bro, all of them have
Hmm.
sold out.
Yeah.
And it's really disgusting to see. And I feel like, thank God Trump got in when he did, or else we wouldn't know shit. We would still be in the dark about everything. Uh,
Yeah.
because a lot of that came out with when he was in, and it no matter what people think about him as a person or whatever, but the fact that he was in and stirred up all this stuff for us to
Yeah.
know, like, bro, okay. But man, I can't imagine being like, yeah. So, what were some of the negatives? Like when you're getting negative comments, I mean, you weren't even saying anything. I'm just trying to picture what could somebody say that would be negative about what you were doing? Like, I don't,
Oh,
what,
I had people just saying that I'm fear mongering and that I just like I had
oh,
a ton of people saying that it was just a giant PR stunt, that I did this just simply for publicity, and it's like
oh,
not at
I
all. Like
see. Okay.
I was getting a lot of negative, a lot of flack from that, and just about like that we were essentially lying. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
what the CPSC wasn't going to do
Oh,
anything
you were
to our.
exaggerating for clicks and views and this kind of thing. Okay. No, I
Oh
never
yeah,
got
so
that at all. I never got that vibe at all from what you were
right.
like, your disposition on the podcast with him when you were talking with this guy. It wasn't about that at all. It was very, uh, I felt like it was a very casual, kind of cool conversation and very informative, you know?
Hmm.
But it wasn't like, oh my God, look at this.
Well, so all right. By day, I am a field service tech for medical equipment. I service the entire state of Pennsylvania. I install medical equipment, so stair lifts, overhead track systems, elevators. I help people with disabilities. That's my
Oh,
day job.
okay. Nice.
And I was setting up a vertical platform lift, a two-story elevator. And I was on site by myself doing some rigging, and I see this email come across, and this is how it all started.
Okay.
It was chatter between the airgun companies. So we're talking like Umarex, Crossman, and like we're talking presidents of the companies are firing back and forth about this. And I cannot remember his name for the life of me, the gentleman I spoke with last year regarding the
Yeah.
CPSC.
I can't either.
But he's like,
It was Mike. Mike something.
was it Mike? Man, I cannot remember.
That's okay. We'll see it later because
Yeah, for real. But
somebody's gonna look it up.
he's like, he goes, we need to get this to as many people as possible. Does anyone know any content creators? And I'm sitting here like, what do I do? Because all right, so I also work as a communications director for the Airgun Sporting Association. So the ASA is a nonprofit organization that basically lobbies to fish and wildlife uh,
Hmm,
agencies all over the United States to legalize airgun hunting. So I talked to the
interesting.
president of the ASA, Mitch.
Yeah.
I called him and I'm like, should I step in and film a video on this? Is this concerning? Does this concern us? Because they all of those people that are with the air gun companies belong to the basically the safety standards for like air guns, airsoft guns, Nerf guns, gel blasters. Like they have a safety committee for all that stuff. And a lot of these board members also sit on the board for that. And they're like, yeah, we should definitely do a video on this because I mean, once they start using direct final rule, like this could trickle down and affect literally everyone. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay, I got the blessing from like the elite in the airgun industry. So I'm like, okay, I should be safe. And plus the lawyer at the time that the ASA was using and the one that the gentleman that I spoke with that he was using. I cannot remember the lawyer's name, but he's one of the biggest Second Amendment lawyers in the nation. Like this
Okay.
guy has won some high, like really high cases, big cases. So
Yeah.
I felt confident, like knowing that. I was like, okay, I'm going to put my name on this thing, and we're going to do a video on it. So I hit him up, and he's like, okay, we'll get on that night, and we'll talk about it. I'm like, cool, let's do it. So um, yeah,
Very
it was wild.
interesting. Yeah. It was. I pulled up the video. Um, Only so I could see this dude's name because it is kind of bothering me that I can't remember it either.
I can't either.
But uh, so this came out in June 3rd last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Almost a
So
year.
June of last, yeah. Yeah, I do remember this whole thing, but I didn't know you were that, like it was like all these different, you know, I thought you did a video with this dude and that was it. I thought the airsoft community was, who I follow and that kind of thing on Instagram and all the socials. They were reposting your video, and that's how I saw it, and
Hmm.
I had no clue. There's all this, psyop stuff going on in your Discord, and
It was
holy
it was
shit,
it
dude.
was insane. I was so stressed. I mean, you can ask my wife. I was just pulling my hair out. And huge shout out to like Warwolf and Frank Dead, Ice Bear. Those guys. I don't know if you've done any work with those guys.
I haven't had them on
Uh,
yet, but I'm going to, yeah.
okay, they helped me out in a huge way. I am forever in their debt for what they did helping with the Discord and just like helping and like even some of the big names. I mean, nobody like I had some of the biggest names in airsoft reach out to me, and like I said, I'm a nobody in airsoft. Like I have very little experience or time in as a content creator, so it was something getting to talk to the biggest names in airsoft. I mean, like Jet and Leah,
Yeah.
all of them, and just that interaction was really really neat. But
Yeah, I'm
life
sure.
changing experience, man, life changing.
Overnight.
Yeah,
Holy cow. Yeah, I was looking at I was looking at this video, and let's see if you had Michael. Okay, Michael's notice. Here we go. Product Safety Commission. Yeah, I don't know his Michael Lucas.
that's it. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
with a K. Lucas with a K. So, yeah, I that thing, it did go pretty viral. Was
in a
pretty
couple days. Yeah.
uh-huh. That's crazy. So you had a ton of you know, jeez, bro.
Hmm.
Negative stuff on there. So
Positive
yeah,
and negative.
that's
I had it. Yeah.
yeah, I don't I can't imagine too many people would be like, how would they have anything negative to say about it except for like what you said? Okay, oh, you're just, trying to scare everybody up for, for nothing, like when it's not
Hmm.
an issue. The problem is, this is how we get these issues, is because everyone's apathetic and they
Hmm.
go, oh, that's not going to affect us. And then next year it affects you, right? So
Right.
obviously there's a balance between freaking out, like, oh my God,
Right.
we got to do something right now, this second, uh, and, and not caring about it at all. Like there's a balance in between there. Like, you got to do your due diligence on information. You can't stick your head in the sand. We've all heard this analogy before. Um, just don't ignore everything. I think what happens is a lot of people over the last bunch of years with social media, they've been so um, desensitized, I guess,
Hmm.
to a lot of the shock and all stuff that happens on these videos that we see. That when we see something like this, like what you did, this talk with this guy, uh, they're like, oh, they're using that same tactic. Okay, they're just trying to scare people, and there's really nothing going on. And that has happened before, where
Hmm.
people have put out some posts or whatever kind of prematurely without knowing information, and then we find out it's really nothing, or it was taken the wrong way or wrong information, whatever. But the stuff you guys were talking about is a real thing. It's real content. It's real things that are happening, and it is something to be aware of and proactive on, so that we don't end up,
Yeah.
dude.
Losing the sport that we love, like what we're all working so hard to preserve and have fun. Like
Yeah.
prepping for this podcast, man, I was flooded with memories of what it was like to really play airsoft.
Mm.
Like when I first got into it, those feelings, man, like it hit me. I was digging back in my stuff, like trying to find, just stuff from the beginning when I started playing, and like just
Yeah.
the emotion and just like what you felt as a new airsofter, or just like playing the sport, and like that's just what we're trying to preserve. And I'm so proud of the community and everybody who did contact the CPSC through the
Yeah.
government website and filled out my goodness, we almost crashed the website. Like we were
Yeah.
literally trending and like number two for all the articles on the website. Like that's impressive. And we let them know, hey, we're here and there's going to be backlash if you
Hmm.
proceed. So like it wasn't for nothing. Like I am so proud of everyone who actually went. I think I was like the third person or fourth person to write a letter and send it in.
Yeah.
But like subsequently the tsunami that followed, I like it felt so good when that closed.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's a good point. Shout out to everyone in the airsoft community that responded to that and sent in something on there. Yep, I agree.
But back something else you had mentioned about the weaponization of the FBI. It's not just a right versus left, left versus right thing. Like we should
No.
all seriously think about it like this and come together. It's like they're weaponizing the federal government. You say mean things on either side now on social media, and like people are getting knocked at the front door, and it's the FBI checking up on you. It's like we shouldn't live in a country where stuff like that's happening. Like it doesn't. It
No.
we we seriously need to start uh reaching across the aisle, and like we shouldn't
Oh,
be so
for
divided.
sure.
We should be so divided. I mean, like Trump was good for America, and I'm
100%.
I'm gonna say this right now, and I don't care what the community thinks. He's going to be good for America again. Like we legit
100%.
need to get away. Like I mean, a lot of your viewers, a lot of people listening are probably a little bit younger, and they're not as impacted by the economy and the stuff like you and I would be.
Right.
If I'm 33, I own my house, we have a car payment. Like I've got a lot riding on my
Yeah.
job and getting hurt, and just that the healthcare system sucks.
Yep.
Like it's been
Agreed.
a wild, wild ride, and we need to change some stuff. We really need to change some stuff.
For
So
real,
I'm
bro.
right there with you when it comes to that.
Yeah, the biggest thing is, like you said, there's no left or right. Like that's their game. The problem is us little people, quote unquote, little people, right? The common folk, we we are playing their game that they want us to
Mm-hmm.
play. So the government agencies, they want the division between the left and right. Like that's the
Mm-hmm.
whole point. They're not going to spare either side.
Right.
When they make their rules, they don't say, "Oh, well, we're going to support these guys." No, they're doing it for them, and we're left in the middle to fight amongst each other because of all their psyops that they put out with,
Right.
trying to stir the pot with us. They shake the can. What is it? Red ants and black ants. They live
Mm-hmm.
fine together in a jar until you shake it, and then they start
Yeah.
fighting. Like this is
Well,
a known thing. Like this is psychology 101, bro. Like they know.
it, it is. It is. And
Hmm.
you know what? Before all of this, before like where we are now in America, like go back, I don't know, when was the Occupy Wall Street movement? It was the left
Oh yeah,
that was eat the rich. It was we're going after the banks. We're going like it was directed
for
towards the
real.
government. And there was what was the Republican? There was another movement around the same time, and it was directed towards the government. It wasn't directed towards right and left. Like they
Uh-uh.
literally flipped the script, turned it so now we're facing at each other. We're not even paying attention to the freaking people who are pulling the strings, and
Yep.
it's sickening. Like we shouldn't have this. Like it shouldn't be like that in America.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
period.
And this is, by
You
the
know.
way, anyone that doesn't know history too well, this is like an old playbook for them. They've known forever how to do this stuff. Okay, this is really, and we fall into the trap a lot. It is easy to fall into it. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing, I think, one of the biggest ways we can help is conversation. And
Mm-hmm.
what they're discouraging is conversation.
Open dialogue. We need to have that.
Yeah,
Both
and so,
sides.
right. And so now over the last couple years, like, oh, free speech, like even just saying free speech is a like controversial issue,
Mm-hmm.
between us, the little people. So, and it shouldn't be like we should be able to talk with each other. And honestly, most of that stuff happens online in daily, everyday life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Interactions with people, whether at the store, if you work retail, people, obviously, I know it's your job if you're working retail to be nice to somebody or whatever, but it's still, we still have this going on. It's not as I think it's more amplified online. like most things. So the the interactions we have with right or left or whoever, whatever belief system somebody has, just out in public is very pleasant. Uh, People have manners, okay, respect. It is mostly good vibes, honestly,
Hmm.
on the daily. So even in different locations where it's crowded or whatever, like you still have you don't like it, people go to Chicago, they go to New York, they go to wherever, to visit. My sister and her husband go to New York every year. Um, Downtown New York, and they stay out there and they, for like a week or whatever, and they hang out even through all the crap that's going on out there. If you look at online, don't ever go to Chicago and don't ever go to New York City because you'll get raped, killed, murdered, or if are a Trump supporter, you're going to get, spit on or something. I mean, like, and that's not what happens in real life. Those are very small instances that get amplified online. We really do get along left and right. We just need to recognize that and keep that same thing in
Hmm.
mind online, when we're interacting with people online. The biggest thing I taught my kids with online interaction was if you're about to text or post or comment uh, to someone or about someone, pretend before you send it, pretend that you are in front of them in real life, face to face, and you're about to say these words verbally to them before you type it in a text or whatever it is. And if you wouldn't do that, then don't comment on it or don't write this thing or whatever. Just use that as a rule of thumb for all your online interactions. Pretend you're going to say it to them face to face. That's how I grew up, before the internet stuff. I'm sure a lot of your childhood was the same before all the social media stuff. So, we definitely need to encourage this kind of behavior, and that's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing here. The airsoft community as a whole, from what I've seen, is trying to do that as well. I think
Yeah,
it's a good place to be in.
it is a good place to be in because I mean, you actually get to see like people from all different walks of life. I mean, there is it is such a colorful group of people
Yeah.
playing airsoft. I mean, we go to a walk one day, so like an ambush, it'll be like uh 300 players just on a walk on. Like we're talking,
Whoa,
it's a bi-weekly walk on. We've got like mini milsim sized events. Like
that's good.
every, it's gnarly. It is so much fun. I'm so spoiled. But yeah, I mean, it's all different walks of life. You see morale patches of everything. I
Yep.
mean, pride flags to let's go Brandon. And it's like
Yep.
nobody gets into I'm not even joking. And nobody gets into fights. Like
No.
it's cordial the entire time. And it's like, why can't we always act like that? Like, oh wait, we have something in common. So like let's have fun. It's like we should be like that outside of airsoft. I think
Yeah.
because I mean, yeah, stop and take a look next time you're at the airsoft field and realize it's like these are all different people with all different walks of life,
Yeah.
beliefs, ideologies, and like we all respect each other and have a blast doing what we do, and that's just running around shooting each other. But like,
Yeah.
um,
For real.
yeah.
No, that's a good point, man. And I've had people, uh, because of some of the guests I've had on, um,
Hmm.
that are trans or whatever, like they I've gotten some comments here and there, or some people unfollowed. That's, it's fine. I understand where they're coming from because they're
Hmm.
caught up into the social uh, justice thing, I guess, or the whatever the online social
Status
push is
status
for.
quo is for
Yeah, for all this
their
kind of thing.
party.
But I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at this human being sitting across from me, right?
Hmm.
And I mean, I know we're online or whatever, not in the same room, but this human being sitting across from me, the first person I had on that was like that, they sent me a message like a couple days before the podcast, said, "Hey, just so you know, I'm trans. Is that okay?" And I was like, "Do you play airsoft or paintball?" And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to tell your story?" And they're like, "Yep." And I said, "Okay, then we're good." Like, I seriously love people. I know I say
Hmm.
this all the time, but I really do. Like, I I'm not like oh, lets everyone sing Kumbaya and hug all the time. I'm kind of a
Hmm.
smart ass, okay? I was in the Marine
Yeah,
Corps. I know. I got kicked out of my house. I was 17. I've messed up. I've done, I was in jail. For a weekend. I've done some things. I'm not this, oh,
get on
let's
that
all
high
hold
horse.
hands. Yeah. Okay. And I was very strict with my kids, with five children that are all, they're all adults now, but I'm not. I understand how the world works. I understand how
Hmm.
human beings work. I understand the mob mentality can get, really violent. And I understand there's some evil out there. I understand there's bad things that happen. People do bad things. I get it. What I'm doing as a human being is trying to give back some of the love and gratefulness that I have for my life and where
Hmm.
I'm at and how I got here. I'm trying to give that back to somebody else through someone else's story, through talking with them. And so I don't care if someone is doing what, like that kind of stuff, if they're not hurting people, okay, then whatever, man, let's go, let's talk. I don't care about the social issues that are online right now.
Yeah,
So I'm not trying to support the social issues online. I'm not trying to be against social issues. I'm not trying to make a statement on these podcasts. I'm trying to
right.
connect with this human being that's sitting across from me and get their story out. So a lot of those political issues, social issues, whatever, they uh, they can be talked about on here, 100%, because I
Hmm.
want this to be an open conversation. And if it's part of somebody's story, how it got to where they're at today, and it's affected them, then bring it up. It's okay. Like we could,
Absolutely.
yeah, we could talk about it, man. We're cool. Anyway, that's so all of that kind of drama that goes on.
Hmm.
It's really easy to get caught up into. I've gotten caught up into it as well. But yeah, your stuff with doing this interview with this guy, bro, it had to be like insane. Yeah.
It was.
Okay.
It was so insane.
So you go from this. I think it's really cool how you and your dad's channel started and kind of changed. You didn't really have like this plan, like, okay, we're gonna film this and then do this. It was
Hmm.
like kind of spontaneous, which is kind of how our channel started, and so I can definitely relate. And then you got into the airsoft thing. Now, do you notice when you were playing competitive paintball?
Hmm.
Uh, what's the difference between like that community and the airsoft community that you're into now?
So the group of guys that I run with play a similar play style. So my brother being one of them,
Mm,
actually both my brothers run with me from time to time, and we all played competitive paintball. So we all grew up doing that. So a lot of the communicating and shooting, we took a real speedball approach. So um, we're self-proclaimed mill speed players. So like I love because I mean, all right. So we came from a firearms community and paintball competitive paintball background, kind of meshed those two together, man, and just fell in love. So it's like not a milsim player, but not a speed softer. It's like
yeah,
I want to run around with an M4 or AK-74, something like that, in you know some sort of camo, preferably DNC, and wear a paintball mask and just play with the intensity of competitive paintball at that like Division 2 level, where it's like bloody knuckles in your face. Like that's how I want to play, and we really get along with the we get along with everybody. Like I don't have a problem with either side. Like I love we the last walk on before I hurt myself, we were playing and we ran with a bunch of speed softers, man, and we tore it up and had a blast
yeah,
doing it, But before that, like we're running with the milsim guys too, like, and just having a good time. Like you can do both.
sure.
Like
Yeah, I feel like
see
there's
so many
a
memes.
what's that?
Oh
Oh
no, go
yeah, I
ahead.
know. Yeah, there's so many memes for the difference between the the speedsoft and milsim.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, doesn't bother me at all.
no, yeah, and it's a completely different environment and atmosphere. I feel like because I really relate to speedsoft
Hmm.
a lot because I played paintball and it was fast paced. Even though we played in my buddy's woods, it was still we're very competitive. Me and the guys that I
Hmm.
played with, we're very competitive. So I totally, I love that kind of energy, right? And if there's a squabble or a fight at the end or during it, because somebody's, disagrees and they're pissed off at
Hmm.
each other, it doesn't last long. There might be some punches thrown. It's fine. Like it's still friendly, like it's not, you're not
Yeah.
hating each other. It's that aggression that comes with the competitiveness. I
Hmm.
love that, right? I miss that. I think it's fun, and you can definitely tell a difference. Like it's to me, it's passion, right?
Hmm.
And then the milsim group, like the milsims I've been to with these guys, it's it's way more laid back. Like, well, the majority of the people
Hmm.
there are more laid back. It's more like, hey, I'm here for the camping, I'm here for the social aspect. I'm going to play for a couple hours out of 3 days, but I'm really here to, show off my RV and all my cool stuff and sit around the fire and talk. I mean, I am not knocking that, bro. It's a really, really good time. It really is. It's a getaway, and it's therapeutic, you know,
Hmm.
uh, without all the competitive running around and
Oh
you know,
yeah.
for real. So now they got to wear a bunch of gear and carry, walk a mile or whatever. But yeah, it's a different atmosphere for sure.
Absolutely. I actually just heard the phrase or the term. Uh, what the heck was it? Chill sim, like a chill milsim, so chill
Okay.
sim.
Yeah.
Like it's not um yeah.
It's not like Milsim West where it's like being
Yeah,
in the
it's not like
military for 3 days and then, real strict or whatever. And like once the whistle blows, you can't stop until the end kind
hmm
of thing. Yeah.
yep.
Uh, and I say it all the time, and I'm sure people are tired of hearing me say it, but this is one of the things I love about airsoft as a hobby and sport. I love the
Hmm.
community. The community is what drew me in. I didn't give a shit about airsoft. I didn't care about paintball, airsoft. I played paintball back in the 90s, but I cared about keeping my sanity. So I started
Hmm.
this YouTube channel to have something to do. And uh, so it was the community is what grew on me.
Yeah.
And so I started getting into I'm like, holy cow, there's all these interactions and, people are responding to videos and I'm like, holy shit. Okay. And so I slowly got drawn into the community, but, and I've come to know and love the sport itself and the hobby itself, but I love the diversity that it has. I love how
Hmm.
broad it is, Milsim West, an actual milsim, military simulation. It's one of the things I told my boys when the first time they ever told me they were going to a milsim. I was like, you ain't gonna make it. Because when they told me what it was, I was like,
Yeah.
y'all are out of shape. Okay, you ain't gonna make 2 days in actually being in the military. And they're like, no, they have breaks and stuff. I'm like, what? That's not a milsim. Like, what is it? What do they call it? They're like, no, no, they're all called milsim. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, you got milsim west stuff. You got all the stuff in between that, and of course the airsoft LARPing events
Hmm.
that are freaking awesome, man. Like I just,
LARPs are cool. Yeah.
yeah, man. It was Star Wars to whatever. I'm waiting for people to do like Gears of War and Halo ones. Okay,
Dude, that would be clutch.
for real. You imagine Marcus Phoenix rolling up, with the
Oh
airsoft gun
my
on his
gosh.
back?
Yeah, that would be so cool. I wanted to do like a Half-Life
Oh my
Gordon
God,
Freeman cosplay, like
bro.
dude,
Did
with
you
like an
play? Did you play
MP7 and
Half-Life
crowbar.
on?
Oh my gosh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, the
That
first
that
time,
that
that
game.
first when you go into that game and it's the cutscene, you're going down and down and down into Black Mesa. Oh my gosh. It was like a
Dude, that
movie,
game
man.
and the second one was so good. Or
Yeah.
Half-Life, yeah, Half-Life 2.
Yep.
Life changing, freaking going through
It,
that city.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it was awesome, man. It was
yeah,
awesome.
love that game. But I
Scary
thought about that. It's
moments.
like, yeah, for real. That was a good one. Dead Space, I don't know, that's a little bit later on. Dead Space was a great game too. My
Oh,
goodness. I don't know if
that
you
game
played
freaked me
that.
out so much. I don't think I finished it. Uh,
Really? Oh, I
oh,
love that game. I
dude.
played it like three times, four
My
times.
son, I had to watch my son play it to actually see the ending.
Hmm.
So the game came out when I was running one of the Game Stops here. So I was a GameStop manager for 3 years. And
Nice.
yeah, when we first moved here. And I, so of course, being there, you have to check out these games. The new games come out, try them out. Excuse me, and so you could talk about them and sell them. So Dead Space, and I'm like, bro, these scary games. Oh, Fear 2.
Yeah,
The
that was
dark
wild.
hallways with the lockers and the lights falling down and the jump scare stuff. I'm like, nope. Christian, come here and play this. My oldest son,
Not for me.
he loved it. So he loved all the scary games. He actually did we started a gaming channel called Trifecta Airsoft Gaming. We only had it for a few months. We didn't do a whole lot with it, but he did a whole section. If anyone out there has never played it, Dead Space, and you want to see a whole walkthrough, he did a whole walkthrough on this game because he loved it.
Awesome.
And he just wanted to replay the game. And I said, no, you need to record it so I can put it on the gaming channel. He's like, do I have to? I'm like, come on, dude, just do it. And so he did reluctantly, but it's one of his favorite games of all time. Yeah.
Same here.
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
That's cool, man. So were
That
you
is.
always a gamer? When did you get into, what was your first video game you did?
Oh my goodness. First video game that I remember playing would be on like PlayStation, so console. I didn't get into PC until later on.
Yeah.
So originally it was more just PlayStation games. What was the Desert Storm Back to Baghdad? So Desert Storm 1 and 2 were really good
Okay.
games.
Yeah.
Loved those. Can't remember what console that was on, if it was on Xbox or
Yeah.
nonetheless. So that's how far back I go, was like the original PlayStation. It was about like when I would have gotten into gaming.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't huge into it.
Yeah.
My younger brother, who's Mr. Filthy Casual, he plays Airsoft. He's like at every event with me. Sean, he's
Nice.
building computers, and he's definitely an interesting character.
Okay.
So he's huge into gaming. So
I don't,
you want to talk gaming? My younger brother would be the one to.
is he on, does he do the airsoft stuff on Instagram? Does he have like a,
Yeah, Mr. Filthy Casual on Instagram.
how do I not know this? See, dude, this is what I've been, so we've had the channel for quite some time, and then the podcast I've been doing for 2.5, 3 years, and I
Mm-hmm.
still am finding out like new people I don't know. Isn't that crazy?
So Mr. OT's group of friends
Yeah.
literally thought my little brother was me. And when the CPSC thing was happening, they were making memes and they were using my brother's
No
pictures.
way.
And I was laughing. There was one picture that went around. It was like, "We got them, boys," and it was uh it was Sean. It wasn't me. And I was just like, "That's so funny." And then people were posting pictures of him
What?
like side by side. It's like Cutie Rye and Mr. OT are brothers or something. It's like, it's my brother. It's not even guys. And like these pictures going around. It's like, whatever. So since I've
Oh
been
my God,
injured,
that's funny.
Sean's actually been playing milsim events for me and doing the gameplay for me. So he just did Apocalypse, the most recent one for Otherworld milsim.
Yeah.
So Sean played that one. We got gameplay from that, and I'm editing that right now. So he basically is taking the torch and pretending he's me. So it's
Oh,
really
that's
funny.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, once you put all your gear on, you can't really tell anyway. You know,
Exactly.
if you
So,
have a similar body build, you
mhm.
could slap some different patches on and be like, "Yep, here we go."
Yep. So I'll go
That's
online.
awesome.
I'll taunt a bunch of people and be like, "Hey, come find me at this milsim event." And my brother gets beat up, so it's all good.
That's awesome.
Set him up.
I'm gonna have to get. You said the filthy casual. I have to get his thing
I'll
from you.
send that. I'll send that to you then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny, man. So you have so all you guys, because your dad was into shooting stuff, all you guys,
Mhm.
did you guys grow up, was your dad into guns like growing up, like hunting or anything? Did you grow up with so you have what, two brothers? Do you have any
Yeah.
sisters?
Nope. Just two brothers. Really didn't grow
Okay.
up shooting all that much. We might have had some rubber band guns. Just like
Oh yeah, those are
dad
great.
was right. That was like how we cut our teeth on shooting each other, and then it
Uh-huh.
just evolved. But yeah, dad was in the military. He was in the army, forward
Okay.
observer, stationed over in Germany, and that his time in the service, when he came back, he was just kind of like it. And I'm sure some of your listeners know, like it can change you depending
Sure.
on just even the experience alone. Like I met a lot of guys that were in the service that are
Oh yeah.
not. or I knew them in high school and then after the service, and it's like totally different person. So I totally get that. So dad wasn't like anti-gun, but he wasn't like, hey son, here's a gun, like
Yeah,
let's go do
right.
something. So
Yeah,
we grew up kind of that way. Really, I mean, taught to respect and respect firearms and guns. We got a few air guns growing up, and we got to shoot those. And then
gotcha.
as we got a little bit older in our teens, and it started getting more and more serious, and dad played a lot of paintball. I
Oh
think that was
yeah,
kind of a stress reliever for him going out and playing. He played competitively, and like I said, he traveled and played tournaments and stuff like that. So he played against Bob Long and his team and the All Americans, and I forget some of the other teams out there. But yeah, he was playing like massive events before massive events existed, I guess, like on the East Coast. So
that's
dad's
so
one of the
wild.
OGs. Yeah. Um,
I wonder if he knows who was it that I was talking with? I think it's the guy that started KWA, TAC League. Oh, I can't
maybe.
remember. He did the same thing, like in the same time frame. He's on the
Yeah.
West Coast, but yeah, he was doing the same type of thing, playing competitively in the
Hmm.
90s or early, mid to early to mid 90s or whatever, and that's how he started out. But yeah, I know that that group was fairly tight because especially competitive paintball wasn't
Hmm.
like huge, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Now it was huge on like because it started getting televised in the late '90s and like in the
Oh, in
2000s on
2003, it was
okay,
televised 3-man. ESPN was doing 3-man indoor events.
ESPN.
It was televised. Yeah,
Yeah.
televised. That's when I was like, that's when the bug really bit me. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be like Dynasty, Ryan Greenspan, Alex Frazier, Oliver Lang, all those guys, man, were my
Yeah.
heroes, reading all the magazines and stuff. And like, I was just chasing that dream. We were going to move to California, me and a buddy, and just play professional,
Oh,
professional
that's
paintball
cool.
in California. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
I mean,
that's
for real.
yeah, it's been a wild ride. I mean, like I was oh my gosh, I was that well connected. Like I had Pinocchio hoppers, like I could call Evan up and he would like send me stuff. And Bud Orr, the guy who invented the autocockers, wishes me a happy
Uh-huh.
birthday every year on Facebook. Now I he didn't wish me one last year and I almost cried, but like for the past 7 or 8 years,
Bro, we're calling you out, okay?
he's getting up there in age. Bud Orr
Yeah.
is like probably one of the best dudes in the industry. I mean, he is inspirational.
Oh, that's cool.
Um,
What a cool
yeah.
thing
So,
though to be a part of because paintball was like cool and edgy before
mhm.
like this was like the only thing on ESPN 3 or whatever that was like exciting, okay? And honestly, even today, like between airsoft and paintball, if I had a choice to watch like a match online, like visually
Mhm.
uh, on a screen or something, I'm choosing paintball all day. It's colorful, it's fast, and you can actually see the bullets, okay? And they pop and splatter everywhere with this really colorful paint when they hit something. So visually, it's way better to watch than like an airsoft,
I
speedsoft event or whatever.
I don't think, and this is going to be controversial, I don't think the speed softers are as competitive as paintballers. I'll be
Mm,
brutally honest. If you would take the same play style and apply it to the same size field,
yeah.
I think professionally, a professional paintballer and or team would wipe the field. I don't think Speed Soft is there yet. There's no coaches. I don't think they're running
True.
drills like they should be. I mean, like when we were drilling and when we were practicing, I was driving from Lancaster when I played for the Patriots, and they were like D4. We were practicing Wednesdays and we were practicing Saturdays. Like we were practicing twice a week, and we're talking like no paint sponsor, no nothing. Like, dude, that gets expensive. And I was
Oh yeah.
driving from Pennsylvania down to OXCC, so we were driving down. That was before like Airsoft was even down there. It was just like paintball, and yeah, like I have not seen it yet. I watch the competitions and stuff like that, and it's like I just don't think it's there yet.
Yeah.
Like I've actually offered to do some coaching for a team, and they were actually considering taking me up on it, and then we just kind of lost communications. It's like everyone's busy, but
Do you
I wouldn't
think,
mind coaching.
yeah, that's a really good point. I never thought of that actually. The the commitment level to
Hmm.
Speedsoft. is compared to the paintball teams, competitive paintball teams, is very different. And I think it is because maybe they know it's not really going to go too much anywhere. I hate to say it that way, but it's you're not getting the big sponsorships that you have with paintball,
Mm.
right?
Right.
And I think somebody else we were talking about this last summer, and one of the things and I'm guessing, I'm speculating, I don't know, but I'm guessing that visually, like to televise an
Hmm.
airsoft event, it's really difficult to to make it visually pleasing or aesthetically pleasing to watch
Hmm.
for the random viewer, right? Not just
Right.
a, airsoft, because airsoft is such a niche thing. Like you don't have a
Hmm.
huge fan base, right? Uh, Football, basketball, baseball, all these big sports that are, popular, soccer,
Hmm.
they have a huge fan base of people that they watch it because, not even if they're not into that sport, because it's a social thing and because it's televised, but you can see what's happening in the game. Airsoft, you can't really see what's happening too much, uh, because if you have it too well lit, then you can't see the BBs, right? You can't
Hmm.
see the tracers. You can't have white background in the field, in the indoor field, or an outside background. Like, you've got to have a dark background so that the players can actually see where their BBs are going. I remember when I was talking with somebody and they said Extreme Airsoft, when they first set up, they have it set up, indoor field, they have turf, they have the inflatables,
Hmm.
and the inflatables were white. It was really bright in there. The background was white, like the walls and everything. And they actually had to put up like black or paint them or something to make the
Hmm.
walls black and stuff because the players couldn't see their shots. But as far as like watching this stuff on TV or whatever, I don't think airsoft ever is gonna, unless they invent some kind of mini paintball or powder or something, that colored powder or something that splatters when you get shot. But
Or more cameras. I mean, maybe they just
yeah,
need more cameras, more angles to see it. But
maybe,
maybe
yeah,
it's the evolution isn't there yet. Like they've taken the ESPN approach in paintball. And I mean, if you've watched any of the pro events in the past
dude,
year to 2 years, it is
I
just it's
I do,
yeah,
and it's fun to watch. And the
it is fun to
HK
watch.
Army short videos they put on their Instagram is
Oh
freaking
my.
amazing, bro. It is
Honestly,
fun.
if I wasn't playing airsoft, I would be in media in paintball. I would definitely. And actually, my mom and I got into photography a long time ago. I shoot weddings and all kinds of other stuff.
Oh,
But my
okay.
mom and I used to go to paintball events when I wasn't playing, and we'd actually take pictures of the teams and stuff like that. So we
Mm,
were in the pits and then out on the field as media, and that was just so much fun, man. We got to meet so many cool people, just amazing people.
yeah,
Taking pictures, you get to know them on a whole different level when you're taking pictures, seeing their character and just like you get that
right.
they're so focused and they see the camera and they just smirk or smile at you. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's so fun, man. I love shooting a camera. That's a blast.
Oh,
You know
that's
what?
cool.
I took a walk one day at Ambush and I was like, you know what? I'm not playing. I'm gonna go out and take pictures. I had more fun taking pictures of the players because it was just like seeing people in the middle of a firefight taking it way too seriously, and then just do this corny freaking pose and get lit up. And it's just like I took 300 or 400 pictures, and it was a great experience, man. I
Yeah.
honestly was like, I'm gonna throw a GoPro on my bump helmet, and I'm just gonna go out and shoot pictures and just film the players because that was so much fun.
That's a cool perspective as well. I've seen that done before where somebody's wearing a GoPro like on their hat or helmet,
Hmm.
and then but they're actually the photographer, so you can see this view, the first person
Hmm.
view of them, shooting pictures and stuff.
Such a
It's
cool
pretty
idea.
cool. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I remember talking with uh, the guys from Task Force Podcast. They haven't put out a podcast for a while. Shout out Task Force Podcast because they were one of the biggest influencers of how I ran this podcast, to be honest. Because they did the same thing. They would have guests on and they would talk. They're very open, very casual, and intimate. When they're talking, having these guests on and talking about telling stories. And they actually play airsoft. Like, they're airsofters. They've been to a ton of events, and they're out in the Kansas area. So when I had them on, they were talking about an event they went to pretty recently at the time, that they went as the camera guys, right? The camera crew. With the combat camera or whatever, like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
combat photographers, and so they were talking about how they had been to a ton of milsims, geared up and whatever, being in it, right? And then how different it was and how fun it was to kind of change it up and just be the camera guy. Like they were like, we could just, hey, we're hungry, we're gonna go get a snack, and then they left the field and then came back. They were like, we didn't have to tell anyone, or we just did our own thing. It was kind of nice, but seeing the different perspective, as they were filming, uh, not being in it, but actually getting the shot of people in it is really, they said it was really cool.
That had to be such a cool experience. I would totally be down for something like that. That's cool. That's
Yeah,
really cool.
right. Hell yeah, man. So you've been into a lot of stuff, man. Paintball, air guns, shooting. Uh, Obviously, I'm sure growing up with two other brothers, fighting, okay, is in
Oh yeah.
somewhere in there, okay. Even if it's not professional, you got to learn how to defend yourself and scrap, and airsoft and all kind of different things, man. That's really cool. And you got a family, right?
Yep. I have a
Okay.
4-year-old son and my wife, and then a house with got chickens down here in my on the other side of the room. There's a back area to my office, and the wife's got chickens. We got quail and rabbits and all kinds of other stuff. So we're into a little bit of
Nice.
everything. My wife's got a YouTube channel that we're doing kind of a homesteading thing, and I'm just kind of along for the ride.
Dude,
This airsoft thing is just kind of a, like I said, a part-time job for me. This is
you are the
I
guy I
don't
need to talk to then.
okay.
I just got we have chickens now. And yeah, this is our first time getting them. I know nothing about chickens. I didn't grow up on a farm. So I've hunted, okay, and in the past, growing up, and then as an adult, just small game hunted. As
Hmm.
a kid, a teenager, I deer hunted and stuff with a friend of mine and his family. But my parents were against guns and all that, and so when I was like 12 or 13, my dad bought me a BB gun, a Daisy one pump. Okay.
Yep.
Oh my God, it was my prized possession. My mom was so mad he got it for me, but she didn't want guns in the house. But anyway, so we just, I was like, my son and I were talking. I said, I want to get chickens this year. We have a 1 acre lot here on our
Nice.
property. It's private, our neighbors aren't close and stuff. And so I've got all this land. All of our kids are grown and out of the house, and I'm like, I need something else back here. I need to fill this land with some gardening and some all that kind of stuff. So I've been looking up homesteading stuff, and some lady at church was like, "Hey, my neighbor does homesteading. They have a well. They have like they could live off the grid, 100%.
Yep.
So they have cattle, they have goats, they have chickens, they have ducks, they have fish, they have a pond, all kind of stuff." And I'm like, I think I want to do chickens. She's like, oh, you need to talk to this lady. She's been doing chickens for, having chickens forever. So I just got some. So I got 10 chickens. I don't know
Nice.
the actual name of them. We ordered them off. She does like a bulk order
Hmm.
off this hatchery something website. And, but apparently she said they're like a breed between the two best egg laying chickens. Okay.
Nice.
So they're all egg layers, they're all females or whatever. And I don't know what I'm doing yet. I've been watching a bunch of videos, but these things, we got them. They were literally, you could hold one in the palm of your hand. Okay. They were
Yep.
tiny chicks. Um, I grew them in my house, and I put a box in here with a bunch of bedding in there.
Right. Right over there. Yep.
Okay. Now they're about teenagers. Okay. They're like maybe 12 inches high, right?
Ugly looking
Their feet are
velociraptor.
huge.
Yeah.
I can't believe how big their feet are, bro. They're like humans. Like when our
Yeah.
boys were like teenagers, their feet were giant and they didn't grow into their feet yet.
Yep.
Anyway, so I moved them out to the shed about 3 weeks ago and had them in a giant box out there that I built. And so now I'm ready to move them outside. Anyway, so
That's awesome. Well, we're friends on Facebook, so
Yeah.
shoot my wife a friend request. She is constantly, I
Okay.
mean, between homeschooling and homesteading, my wife, yeah, she is tearing it up.
That's awesome. My son, my youngest son, he's married, has three kids. They're homeschooling.
Oh, good
Uh,
for them.
their kid, they don't vaccinate their kids, and yeah, they're all into, kind of getting to that point where they could be sustainable.
Yeah,
They could live that
that's
way.
great.
Yeah. Hmm.
We've got solar going up on the house in probably a month or so. We got the approval. We had to get so much approval to get solar, man. Like
Isn't that crazy?
it was like, okay, well, you got to talk to the electric company and then they got to approve it. Now, I get it because you're feeding back into the system.
Yeah.
So like all of our transformers had to be up to date for that kind of stuff. So
Hmm.
of course they went and updated the one right outside the house and they upped our bill $60 a month because they updated it. We have to pay for that apparently.
Oh,
I was like,
Lord.
cool, I love this. This is terrible.
Uh,
So man, it's just, but yeah, so we're going in that direction. Definitely trying to be as self-sustainable as possible. I mean, we grew and canned almost, I'd say 25% of our food from last year, and we'll be up to like almost 50%. We buy all of our meat locally from a local butcher that raises, actually, all of the cattle is raised right outside of Ambush Paintball and like an airsoft park. So all the cows that are right there at the entrance, they butcher them and they sell them like just down the road. So we buy all of our meat local. So we try
okay.
to eat 100%. And then an Amish farm we go to for all of our produce. So everything's sourced
Oh,
like,
that's awesome.
yeah,
Dude, I
it's been,
miss Amish. We don't have Amish in the South, bro. It's
I
like up north,
know.
like where we were at in Ohio. Amish was really like you could drive 30 minutes and you're in Amish country, okay, where
Yeah.
I
Yep.
grew up. So, but down here, like people don't even know really what that means.
I know, right? The Amish are so weird, but
Oh,
yeah, it's
dude,
cool
you
though.
want some good furniture that's gonna last 100 years, bro?
Hmm.
Buy something that the
Yeah.
Amish made for real.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Big fact.
dude,
But
that's awesome. Okay. So what do you got? What do you got planned for? Man, you got a lot going on. That's awesome, man. I love to hear that. Uh, good family. Yeah, for real. What do you got planned for like Airsoft this year? Like, do you have any goals this year for what you're doing?
it's tough to say. So the doctors, I don't know if everything from the intro of the video, the beginning when you started, if you're going to actually put this in, but
Yeah.
obviously with that radial nerve damage, I could be out for 6 months
Mm,
to a year before I actually even get that hand back to where I can utilize it. And using a rifle right now is almost impossible. Like I can't do my
yeah.
reloads. I have to do a real funky like low ready, come here with my right hand and do my mag change. I can grip, I can't let go. So like doing any of that stuff is almost impossible. So um
Oof.
if it's not too much to ask, what happened with you and how was your recovery? Like,
No, it's not too much to ask. I'm still, I'm about 70% strength or whatever. So most of my body works normal. My legs, it's my appendages. So my grip strength is pretty bad. Uh, so like I was my normal strength before. When I'd work out, I could do 50 push-ups at one time. Then I would do, lift and do some other things, and then do another 50 or whatever. Uh, I can do, I don't know, maybe three push-ups right now. I can do curling. I can do 15 pounds is the heaviest I can curl, mostly because of my grip strength. So I can't hold on to, I can't really squeeze that tight. So if you and I were to shake hands, it would feel like maybe if I squeezed as hard as I could, it'd be like a 12-year-old squeezing your hand. Um, or maybe an 8-year-old before puberty. um, and then, yeah, so it's going. I Because of the medication that I had before that caused a lot of issues, like I had reactions to and blood clot and stuff. I don't want to go back to. That's the only treatment they have. There's no other treatment. Um, I don't really have a plan in place to go through the medical route. So it's diet and exercise, but Yeah. So I don't, I just deal with it. It's fine. I can walk, um, normal speed, slow speed, whatever, for maybe 50 yards before I have to stop. But
Can I ask what happened? What caused it?
oh yeah, it was Guillain-Barré. So it's GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome, is what started out as, is what they diagnosed me with, and then uh, because it came back a second time, they said it was this thing called CIDP, and I'm going to say it because it's a little more prevalent. I've actually I drive Uber over the last
Okay.
6 months, and I've met a lot of people around town, and there's like two people that I've driven that had the same thing I have, which,
Okay.
2 years ago nobody's heard of it. So it's anyway, it's an autoimmune disorder, but CIDP is chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy, which is so in your body, all your nerves go to your muscles or whatever and tell them, it sends a signal from your brain to tell your, well, because you had this nerve damage, especially now, you understand there's a disconnect between that, electric signal. And that's so when I had this issue, the autoimmune problem, my immune system attacked my own body and damaged all of the myelin sheath that connects, is the basically the connector between your nerves and your brain signal, whatever. Um, so I have the brain signal, I have the muscle, but there's no connection there. So it's like your thing is your fan's not plugged in, so it ain't turning on. Okay. Uh, so anyway, the lack of strength, like in my grip, like my grip works, my fingers work, but not like they used to. Uh, I don't understand that. Like there's a small connection there, but it's not fully healed, I guess,
Hmm.
is what I've been told. So anyway, yeah. So I'm in that, and I've been that way for a couple years now.
Okay.
It's fluctuated. So last year, after I got back from Utah, last year when I slowed down, I actually was going to stop the podcast because I was paralyzed again, partially. I could barely walk. It was just really frustrating, man, because it came out of the blue. There was nothing I could figure out, like what, as far as my nutrition stuff, like what I was eating, drinking, whatever, like nothing changed. And just out of the blue, it just, so I'm laying there like, dude, I can't get up. Like, I don't understand what the hell. Uh, like literally nothing changed. I wasn't taking any more or less vitamins. There was for months. So anyway, that's been a struggle, to be honest, emotionally, mentally. Uh, but so anyway, it comes and goes. Um, yeah. So man, I really, I appreciate the question. I appreciate people's concern and stuff. I feel like when I first started this channel, I talked about it quite a bit. I don't want to, um, but then again, sometimes I feel like I should, because in case somebody else has a similar situation, they want to, it helps them. I don't know, but anyway, yeah.
I mean,
So
I'll be honest. I've been dealing with this for 6 months, and like I've had my ups and downs, and I've had those days. Like when I woke up the day after I crushed my arm, and my hand was just hanging like this. I couldn't from here down. I was completely paralyzed. I mean,
oh,
basically, I couldn't move anything. I couldn't open my fingers, couldn't close my fingers. So like, imagine waking up that morning and like,
scary.
dude, your hand can't like, and then you get in your freaking head. So you just being able to talk to you right now,
Yeah.
it's helped me a little bit just to be able to talk to you about it and just be like,
Okay,
okay,
good.
someone else feels like what I'm going through, because like getting trapped in your own head and then feeling like you're trapped in your own body. And I know it's just my freaking hand. Like I get it. And there's people out there that are much worse. So I work with
That's yeah,
the disabled. Like that's my
right.
job. Like I install equipment for people with disabilities. So I see it every day, but you don't expect it to happen to you. And it's like, man,
Right.
the mental toll that it plays. Like I feel for you going through what you're going through, and
Oh, I
I'll
feel for
definitely
you,
be
brother. I
be
really
praying
do.
for you. I
Oh,
mean,
thank you.
the doctor did tell me there's a small chance that is it Turner Parsage syndrome. So it is an autoimmune disorder that attacks the nervous system.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so one of my doctors disagrees with that when they did my
Okay. So
EMG test. So
what did you crush your hand? What happened to your arm? You
I
crushed
was
it,
just
you said?
pushing. It was the weirdest thing. I was pushing a box in the back of my truck, and I felt an electric shock. I mean, it felt like I touched an outlet. I was like, that was the weirdest thing ever. And I was sore all day. Took some Tylenol PM, went to bed, woke up in the morning, and my arm was just like, no, nah, I'm not working. And like,
Whoa.
I'm thinking, I'm trying to do this. Like, I'm trying to open my hand, I'm trying to move my wrist.
Oh,
Nothing's happening.
I've done
And
that
I'm just,
game.
dude, and it's like, oh my goodness, like, what is freaking happening? So go through all the doctors. No one can give me a straight answer. They're like, we have no idea. MRIs, X-rays, EMG tests, two EMG tests back to back, and then the doctor's like, it could be an autoimmune disorder where, um, basically the
Hmm.
body, if after having I had the flu a month or so before, and he's like, it could have activated it, and that could affect that nerve cluster, and actually, it only focuses on basically that nerve cluster. So there is a small percentage. There's a small chance that I am not in your boat because I mean I'm nowhere close to
No,
that,
I
but
know,
like
but I
it
understand. You can say that. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
so it's just that just staying strong mentally can be challenging sometimes, but you just got to keep looking at the positives. And it's like,
Were you so before this happened, did you get sick a lot? Were you like experienced with going to doctors in the medical industry in the medical field? No, right?
mm-mm,
Yeah. So I was the same way. So I didn't really go to doctors. Okay. Never really got sick after military, 20 years. Okay.
mm-hmm,
Uh, no major illnesses, nothing like that. And then I go when this happens and I get involved in the medical industry, okay, with this process, and I'm going, well, surely they have something, they can tell you at least.
mm-hmm,
I was shocked at how little they know about autoimmune
yeah,
disorders. I'm like, bro, what have y'all been doing the last 100 years? Like, I'm not putting them down. I mean, the medical industry. I'm just saying, it surprised me because I've not been involved with it.
mm-hmm,
Like when you're not sick at all and you never have to go and uh, don't have to be a part of that because it's a whole different thing. Like I broke bones, I had sprained
oh
things, I
yeah,
had dislocated stuff, I had to go, and get fixed or something. But that's a whole separate part of the hospital system,
mm-hmm,
right? And it heals pretty damn fast
mm-hmm,
compared to autoimmune things. And I'd heard the word autoimmune, but I didn't know what the hell it meant
right,
because I didn't need to, it wasn't relevant. So yeah, when this happened, so the daily struggle, and I'm so you've had this for about 6 months, and one of the things I struggled with was as a man, as a provider, as a I take care of myself. It's pretty typical. I'm not saying I'm special or nothing. It's just very common, typical kind of male thing here, like the ego and hey, I can handle myself. I don't want to ask for help. And it's not really just a male thing. Like women as well. When you're put in a position where you have to ask for help, and by the
mm,
way, the doctors don't know. They can't tell you exactly. Okay,
right,
like so now it's kind of up in the air. Like, um, well, are you sure you can't move it? Like, are you sure you can't get up out of bed? Are you like? Now my wife was great. My wife helped take care of me and stuff, but there's those days where I'm like, uh, I need to ask you again. Okay, can you please do this for me? It really is demoralizing. Okay, and I remember when speaking of this topic and feeling like after you do that for so long, like you want to
mm-hmm,
have some kind of win. I just need something where I can do myself without asking for help. And I
mm-hmm,
remember we've had a push mower for our yard forever. Okay, gas mower, you're right, where you pull string.
yep,
Yeah, my hands, I couldn't pull start a mower for quite a few years now. Still can't, and because my fingers don't grip strong enough to hold it for the whole pull. So anyway, I'd have to, if my sons weren't here, I'd have to ask my wife to pull start the lawnmower. Now,
Yep.
okay, when I'm asking you for everything else, I'm not even making an issue about guys and girls things. I'm saying when I just want to do something myself. Okay. So anyway, so 2 years ago, I asked for Father's Day. I asked for a electric, battery operated push mower.
Yep.
So I got it, and some of my friends and coworkers that I was working with, whatever, they're conservatives, and they were bashing me, saying, "Oh, what are you on this? Were you a liberal now because you're trying to go gas free?" I'm like, bro, f you. I'm just trying to start the lawnmower by myself without asking help.
Yep. Dude,
uh,
tell me about it.
oh my God, for real. Anyway,
Dude, yeah, just yeah, asking my wife to tie my shoes when I first heard it. Like I eventually
yeah,
like started wearing like slip-on water shoes, and I
there
just
you
wore
go.
those constantly. 'Cause it's like I can't keep asking. Like I love my wife and she's an angel, but like I feel like I don't want to be a burden, dude. Like I am supposed to be taking care of this house, and like
Yeah,
all of a sudden it's like, hey babe, can you tie my shoes? And it's
yep.
like that is so. I teared up like a little baby yesterday. I finally drank a cup of coffee and I used my left hand to drink it. I actually held the cup for the first time in 6 months with my left hand and actually drank. And like, dude, I teared up like a little baby. I was sitting right there editing one of my dad's videos, and I lifted the cup and I was like, it was the greatest feeling. Like, and that is so stupid. But anyone out there watching this, if just pick something up with your left hand, like, oh my gosh, yeah, crazy.
Telling
But
you now.
I guess,
Oh, I
yeah.
100% understand that. That's a little win for you that you were excited about. And those were tears of joy, by the way. I've been there numerous times where I get up and I'm like, I go to do something and I was able to, unscrew something or open, these caps that flip open
Hmm.
like your toothpaste or whatever, they snap
Yeah.
shut. And honestly, for me, for my finger strength, they're kind of hard to open. I usually have to use my teeth and like
Hmm.
hold the tube with both hands and use my teeth. And now I'm able to kind of hold it against my body and use a couple fingers to, but it used to be my fingers weren't strong enough. So they would just kind of like go like, like this pull off. And
Yep.
there was sometimes I was so angry, I would literally bang it on the countertop or on the sink or whatever to try to break it open. I was like, bro, can I just do one thing myself? And when I was able to do that, I know it sounds like so trivial and such a dumb thing for some people, but when I was able to open my own toothpaste thing and use my own toothbrush, oh my God, I was the same place, man. I was ready to cry. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. I feel you. I'm so glad I watched, I just recently watched your kicking Mustang video. When you said that, man, like I got so excited that I was going to be talking to you. Like,
Oh, dude, thank you.
yeah. Yeah, I was so
Yeah.
stoked. I was like, he gets it. Like, and like, because I'm trying to manage this, trying to manage dad's thing. I'm holding down a full-time job, being a dad, being a husband. You know how it is, man. It's a lot,
Yeah.
you know. And I
Well,
know
and
I
you,
did
you
it to
don't want to
myself.
complain,
No,
right?
no.
So somebody asks you to do something or you go to do something, you can't do it. You don't want to get in this habit of saying, "Oh, I can't." And that's what I was saying to Kicking Mustang. I was like, I've really caught myself. I don't know how to stop doing it because
Hmm.
when I need to ask for help, I'm like, "Hey, can you do this?" I can't do it, and I'm like, I need to cut this out, but I
Hmm.
don't know how. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Right there with you.
Yeah, so anyone watching or listening, okay, if y'all have some kind of physical struggle, uh, bro, I am definitely humbled over the last few years, um, and grateful for where I'm at, and grateful for what I have, what I do have available,
Hmm.
um, faculties available to use in my body and strength and everything. So, uh, and I'm sure you're the same way. Like, yeah, you're gonna when you can't do something with that hand, you're gonna focus on that at that moment or whatever. But overall, I'm sure when you're laying at bed at night, you're like, man, I am so thankful for the rest of my body working the way it should. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
for real. So anyway, well, thank you so much for being on, man. Give a shout out to your channel where people can find all your airsoft stuff and what you're doing.
So you can find me on Instagram and YouTube, just about any social media platform. Just look for PewDiePie Airsoft. It's the best way to find me. My link tree is filled with awesome, sponsors that have been helping me out over the past 2 years. You can go check out all of their links and share the love, man. Just thank you so much for having me on here. It's been great getting to just talk to you and talk about airsoft and just about my past experiences. So thank you for that opportunity.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you, bro. So everyone go and check them out, check out their sponsors, and check out my sponsors. Thank you to everyone. Man, I'm so grateful. Thank you. I feel very blessed to have you on and all the other guests that I've had on. So, and the ones in the future. So, yeah, stay tuned, guys. This episode will come out this Sunday, actually. So,
Awesome.
all right, brother. I appreciate you,
All
man. You
right.
have a good night.
Absolutely. You too.